Hello everyone, I am Shanika Vikramasinghe, a senior software engineer at WSO2. Nice to meet you with another great video. Today, we will talk about 7 interview questions an employer should ask to test a candidate for a software testing job role. On the other hand, if you are applying for a software testing job, you should definitely know the answers to these questions. Then, let's get started with the first question. First question is, what are the stages in software testing lifecycle? In general, the software testing lifecycle includes several stages called requirement analysis, test planning, development of the test cases, configuring the test environment, test execution, and reporting. Reason to ask this question. This is one of the simplest questions. However, it allows employers to understand the candidate's exposure to the complete software testing lifecycle. If a candidate omits a section like a requirement analysis, it's most probably because he has not carried out that stage. It can be a common occurrence as some organizations have separated requirement analysis from the software testing lifecycle. Second question is, what are the different test levels? There are 4 different test levels in a complete test setup. Those are unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Reason to ask this question. Following up on the software development lifecycle stages help determine what kind of testing the candidate is familiar with. Some may have first-hand experience in some tests, while others specialize in different tests. It allows for distinguishing the specialties of the candidates. Third question is, what is the difference between verification and validation? Verification ensures that the system meets all the required functionality. It is done in the development phase typically by the developers and is purely an objective process. Validation is the process of ensuring that the developed functionalities meet the intended behavior. It is typically done by the testers after verification and involves testing the overall product. Validation can be a subjective process as it involves subjective decisions on how the software behaves. Reason to ask this question. The primary goal of this question is to identify if the candidate understands the difference between verification and validation. As testers will be involved in both these types of testing, the candidate must understand that there will be tests for specific functionalities as well as the overall product, which can be subjective. Next question is, how should tests be prioritized and what factors might influence the decisions? Tests should be prioritized depending on what is tested and the importance of the test cases to the overall product. Prioritization is usually decided as a collective entity by analyzing the requirements of a particular use case. There is no single reason a test should be prioritized. Many factors such as the importance of a feature, the impact of production bug on the end users, stakeholders and the user sentiment, and market conditions impact the prioritization of tests. There is a critical bug that takes precedence over any other test. Fixing the bug will be crucial for the core functionality of the application. Additionally, if the end users request a new feature, it will get priority over any other development. Reason to ask this question. As testing needs constantly evolve and change at a moment's notice, properly knowing how to prioritize the assigned test case is crucial for effective managing the workload. If the candidate understands the common factors that lead to changes in prioritization, he can be more flexible in his job role and meet the changing demands accordingly. Next question is, how do you know when it's time to stop testing? Testing can never be considered fully complete, and it needs to be carried out with each new improvement, feature, or bug fix. Testing can be considered completed when all the requirements are tested. That means all possible test cases and combinations are tested. All the entry and exit criteria are met. No open issues to be tested. As testing needs to be completed within the allocated time, budget, and resources, it can be concluded when all the requirements are tested within these constraints. Reason to ask this question. Having an understanding of when to stop testing demonstrates that the candidate knows how to properly scope the testing requirements according to the available resources. As an employer who can provide only a limited number of resources, a candidate who is better at managing resources while completing the test will be a preferable choice. Next question is, what are the contents of a typical test plan? A test plan will consist of the design, scope, and the test strategy. A typical test plan document will include the many aspects such as test case identifier, scope of test, details of the test strategy and approach to testing, test schedule, resource allocation, test environment, tools and other requirements, defect management. This means how discovered bugs or defects are reported. Risk management. This means what risks can occur during testing and what risks are involved if released without adequate testing. Then exit parameters. That means details when testing can be stopped. This essentially describes the expected outcome from the test. Reason to ask this question. A candidate can smoothly adapt to a new test environment if he knows the typical contents of a test plan. As the employer, reducing the time required for training allows you to gain the benefits of new hire quickly. Besides, if the candidate omits sections like defect management and risk management, it shows that he is not familiar with those aspects or that he used to handle them outside of the test plan. Then the interviewer can drill down further to gain a better understanding of such factors. Next question is, what is usability testing? This testing method is used to better understand the end user's point of view towards the software. It requires QA to test the software for its ease of use. This testing can be done in the initial stages of the development pipeline using a prototype or mock-up software. The reason behind this question is twofold. First, it helps identify if the candidate is familiar with usability testing. Second, if they mention factors like prototypes or mock-up software, it shows that they are familiar with using them. A candidate familiar with these concepts will be effective for testing in a user-centric form, which will help to improve the user experience, especially in front-end UI testing. With this, we have covered 7 questions that most software testing interviewers will ask. These questions will allow an employer to understand the candidate's profile well and choose the best candidate for the position. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like our video and subscribe our channel to see more of these videos. Thank you.